Normalization in DBMS. So why we use normalization? To organize the data in proper way, remove the redundancy, easy to understand, and it is easy to fetch the data from database. So let's see, the very first normalization is 1NF. So in 1NF, atomic value is not allowed. And that means if one particular column having more than one value, it is not allowed in 1NF. So here you can see there is a 2 mobile number is entered for ID 1. So we can rearrange this table in this way. Second normalization is 2NF. So in 2NF, the rule is the non-prime attribute is uh, no non-prime attribute is depend on the proper set of the candidate key. So what is a non-prime attribute? So here the non-prime attribute is age, because it's not a unique identification of any person. So that means it's a non-prime attribute. And the proper subset of candidate key, that means here candidate key is for teacher ID and subject. So it is a subset. So it is a set of teacher ID and subset. Teacher ID and subject. So this is a unique identification of particular teacher. So this is teacher ID 1 teaches the subject AI. So this is a unique identification of any teacher, and this non-prime attribute is age. So this age is depend upon these teacher ID and subject. So this is not allowed in 2NF. And firstly we have to see whether the table it is in 1NF or not. That means no atomic value is allowed. So we can divide this table into two tables. The very first table is teacher ID and age, and second table is teacher ID and subject. Next, 3NF. So in 3NF, transitive dependency should be removed, and first your table should be 1NF and 2NF. So 1NF means no duplicate entries are allowed, and 2NF, that means no non-prime attribute is not depend on your proper subset of candidate key. So this table it is in 1NF and 2NF but not in 3NF. So in 3NF, transitive dependency should be removed. So what is transitive dependency? If A belongs to B and B is belong to C, so is equal to A to C. So this is how the transitive dependency work. So here employee zip is depend upon your employee ID column, and employee state, employee city is depend on employee zip. So this is not allowed in 3NF. So for that purpose we can divide this table into two. So very first table it contain the ID, the name of employee and zip code, and the second table zip, state of employee and city of employee. So here employee ID is a candidate key. So this is how the 3NF is work. Next is BCNF. So in BCNF there is a trivial dependency. So what is a trivial dependency? That means if your relation is x to y, so that x should be super key of your relation. So here we can divide this table into three. That means the first table is employee ID, nationality, employee department, department type, and the number of employees in particular department, the employee ID and the department of employee. So here candidate key is in first table employee ID, in second table candidate key is employee department, and in third table the candidate key is employee ID and employee department. So if you summarize the 1NF, 2NF and 3NF, so the one thing should be remember for one particular normalization. So if you consider the 1NF, the atomic values are not allowed. That means duplicate entries of one particular column is not allowed. If you consider the 2NF, then there is a no non-prime attribute is depend upon your proper subset of your candidate key. So your age is a non-prime attribute and it is dependent on the proper subset of your candidate key. And in 3NF, you can remember that transitive dependency should be removed. So what is transitive dependency here? Employee zip is depend upon employee id, and employee state and city is depend upon the employee zip. So this transitive dependency is not allowed in 3NF. And if you consider the BCNF, then triple dependency is there. That means if your relation is x to y, then super key, so x should be the super key of your relation. So here we can divide this table into three table, and here the candidate keys are in first table, that is employee id. In second table, employee department is candidate key. In third table, employee id and employee department is candidate key. So for more detail you can visit this website. Thank you.